Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, November 6th. Let's hop into a game really fast because it's already been an hour and 30 minutes and I've only been able to do the Wednesday Brawl, which didn't give me any reward or anything, so I mean, I guess I'll do the Brawls, but maybe not because it's not really worth it. We'll have to see when this Brawl ends in 9 hours and 15 minutes, so they really don't even seem like they give you enough time. I was very glad. Let's move into standard rank now with our new deck that we built. I was rather glad when I saw Hearthstone expand their brawls from being, I don't think they were ever 24 hours, I think they were 3 days long, and they eventually expanded them to an extreme amount of time. Where it was almost an entire week. Alright, so what we're trying to do here is we want mountains on the field, 3 mountains on the field before we have any Dwarven Mines we play. We have a lot of cards here that are weird, to say the least, and we need to figure out how well do they synergize. For instance, these 7 dwarves, there's 7 of these in my hand. So putting these on the field would be cool. They could get up to +7/+7, so you'd have 7 9/9s on the field, but is that realistic? Is that really going to happen, or is that just insane? Let's actually get rid of the 7 doors for a moment. So I'm gonna play this first. Make him think I have a pure black deck when I have a red black deck. Most of these cards are about dealing damage in one way or the other, or dealing damage and or healing. So, deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, put a 1/1 counter on it. So, this guy can block. He probably would block, so we'll wait till he attacks. If he doesn't ever attack, I don't ever attack, I don't ever get that 1/1 counter. I think these Dwarven Mine cards are pretty worthless. Frankly. And I almost certainly am going to get rid of them in favor of something else. Deals target damage to a blocking creature, each is equal to the number of creatures you control. So now I'm supposed to target this creature and destroy it, I guess, with his Death Rattle ability, which is not really what we were hoping for there, but it still worked relatively well. A 2-mana card that did 2 damage. I don't think I have this card. This would be a nice card to have. And it's a core 20. No, it's a core 19 card. That might explain some things. Sacrifice this to get a mountain on the field. A lot of this deck has higher mana cost spells than they probably should. So like next turn I could cast this. Do I want a blocker? No. Okay. Deal 3 damage, which pumps this guy up, which then allows him to attack. And ideally, I would just want one more swamp on the field. What is this? Has proliferate. And it adds a colorless mana. Again, something I don't have. I don't know what proliferate would do. I guess it adds a 1/1 to this guy? Just no blocks. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this on the field. 6 damage to any target. And then all attacks, and it's just a straight face race now. And so far so good. I don't think any of the cards I've played have been terrible. If anything, this has been the worst one. And it wasn't really given a fair trial. So this one will proliferate again, and well, no, he didn't even do that. Let's see. So red and tap would deal 1 damage. 3 and a black would discard a card. Apparently I can't do either of those abilities though, so let's just put another swamp on the field. And I'm just gonna go ahead and attack here, and he'll have to defend. And he'll gain a life, and then what happens then? So I'm wondering if maybe I could block with this. Let's see. Let's play this. 1 damage to each to the opponent, gain 1 health, discard a card, deal Deal 1 damage. To tap. And is he gonna defend? Or do I just do no attacks? I think I do no attacks. But this guy can still attack because he has flying. So all I'm really doing is defending against these groups of people. So yeah, if this kept on going, I could deal 1 damage and to the opponent and get him down, but I would need a couple of extra turns more than what I have. Right. Yeah, I've just lost. Okay. So we don't have a ton of news today. I've been playing Fear, which is a nearly 15-year-old game, and one thing that was actually quite surprising about it was just the fact that the gamma is completely wrong on it. Like, the default gamma setting, which I almost never change. In fact, this may be the first time in my entire YouTube history that I've adjusted gamma on any game. Like, it just had the game look incredibly bright for what is effectively a horror first-person shooter. It did not make any sense to my mind why it would be that bright, other than the small thought that maybe, just maybe, it was a it was designed for not LCD backlit type monitors, but square CRT monitors. Maybe that would have been the reason. Let's see. Whenever you cast a spell, whenever an opponent is dealt non-combat damage. So I adjusted the brightness. The controls on Fear 1 are terrible. Like, it has not been programmed in any way to use a modern version of DirectX input where it would use an Xbox controller layout. So you can map buttons, but there are so many buttons to individualize actions instead of just kind of a more generic way in which things are done. There's no like weapon wheel or anything that would reduce the amount of reduce the amount of buttons you need. So, and it doesn't allow you to use every button on the D-pad. Any button on any direction on the D-pad activates. So I had an unfortunate incident where I was using the pickup button and the throw grenade button on different sides of the D-pad, and it totally couldn't figure that out. And so as I was trying to pick up something, I threw a grenade and blew myself up. My main hope here is that this boils down to a instance where there's where I can kind of quickly get through Fear 1, and then Fear 2 is better, and then Fear 3 is better. I had a friend who wanted me to play Fear around the time Fear 2 or Fear 3 was out, and I didn't ever get around to it. Or I got to like 2 levels. But boy, is it really just a really, really old game. There's not a lot more you can say about it than that. It's just super, super old. This sucks. This just sucks. Well, this was the one card I was just holding on to. This. I've just got to play that to get it off out of my hands, otherwise I'm gonna constantly run into problems. But it's really hard to have any kind of relationship to Fear 1 when it's such an old game, and the repetitive layouts are empty. There's lacking in texture. Some of the 3D models look pretty good, but it really does look like what a horror asset flip first person shooter looks like today, except for the fact that this was 15 years ago and made by Monolith, the creators of the game that actually did scare me, the only game that's ever scared me, Condemned Criminal Intent. I wouldn't be surprised if Fear came slightly before Condemned Criminal Intent, and that thus there's an improvement in quality because of that. This thing is just gonna keep on. It's just gonna keep on ruining me. I've gotta get this off the field. It's driving me crazy. The way Fear is on Steam right now, it's kind of a bundle of 2 DLCs for the first game, so you've got a slightly different. Let's see. Choose attackers. This one does have haste. Alright. Attack. See if you defend or not. Seriously? Game over. I don't think I built this deck particularly well. And now I'm falling down Silver Tier. Oh, I didn't realize I could fall down further. I thought it locked in. I guess maybe it only locks in at certain points. So let's just play regular. Like, I don't have any faith in this deck, and I'm trying things here that probably aren't going to work. So yeah, I'm like 2 or 3 levels into Extraction Point, I think, which is the prequel DLC of Fear, and a lot of the scare things and jump tactics are not so much focused around showing the main spooky girl from the Ring series, Alma, as the main bad girl, and instead just kind of showing spooky things in general, kind of random sound effects and spooky things like that, which I think is probably a mistake. If I was gonna play the 7 Dwarfs, and just the 7 Dwarfs, how would I get more 7 Dwarfs on the field? Because you kind of need a card that says, bring every creature with the same name onto the field to synergize with this, and I haven't seen a card like that. And these all have trample, so while I'm doing my thing, he's still going to be able to do his thing. And I'm just short on mana, so I can't actually do anything. I need a considerable couple extra lands. So 4, 8, 12, you've lost. So great, I managed to do 3 damage. 3 damage before I lose. And so the 7 doors don't work. The whole concept doesn't work. It's pretty obvious that doesn't work. It's never going to work without something that lets you summon all 7 from your deck at the same time. Or if you were playing a very slow late game deck, which would be weird for a red deck. So we can get rid of all of those. And I think that makes a good argument to add several of these back. And then let's think about what cards we do want. Can we have more than one of those? No. Can we have more of those? No. There you go. Is that really the right move, though? Probably isn't. It's probably better to have as many of the evolving wilds as possible. So, 1, 2. So that's a quick change. Let's see how that fixes it. Oh, I should have gotten rid of all the mines too. Like, obviously the mines are not worth playing. Yeah, so I've only made like 2 or 3 episodes. I've also been uploading things, and if Uploader seems like I figured out it's the playlist problem. That if you just tell it not to put anything on the playlist, it doesn't seem like it messes up as much as I was having trouble before, which seems like cool. Then that seems like that will work. Let's just keep all these. Is this an instant? Yes, it is. So if we play this first turn, we can play this to deal 1 damage to anything he plays. So videos are mostly uploading just fine. I'm still in the process of doing several things otherwise too. So there's a lot of excuses to not be working. And with the limit of really only having 2 time slots, because that's all the notifications will ever go out on YouTube per day, I'm just gonna I'm not really even at a big position where it's necessary to it's not really even necessary to try to what's the word I'm trying to say? To try to record a lot of stuff, and so I can just kind of take it easy. And let my computer do some other things. I'm still heavily in the process of trying to get the backup, the full backup software to potentially work. It's another one of those. So let's start going through the news, or more accurately, I'll go through my Twitter to open up some more news articles. And let's see. Now if I play this, I wouldn't be able to play this. If I play this, I wouldn't be able to play this anyway, so we'll start with that. So theoretically next turn we play this, and maybe play this and this, and everything should work. So Twitch support says we're looking into an issue preventing people from accessing our help portal. Any existing support cases are not impacted. And then 4 minutes ago, that was an hour ago, and then 4 minutes ago was issues still being worked on. We're very sorry for any inconvenience. What was that crying sound? Is that what that guy makes? Right. So I think this is good. Play that here. And then play that. And then play that. And so we've got a build up now. I don't think that a lot has been happening this weekend, though. Otherwise, or the past couple days. Death Stranding came out, and people are very varied on it. Now, part of the reason, as I've heard more reviews of Death Stranding and people talking about it, that people might have had very different experiences, is because it is designed in such a way that you really wouldn't see anything at all if you're playing offline, because it is this online only experience, and people were playing the game on a pre-release server, so that might have been a factor also. 3 damage. So, yeah, if you're wandering from point A to point B and there's nothing there because everything that was supposed to be there is brought in online, I could see people not having a fun time there. Now, even if you are playing online, I could still see people not having a fun time with Death Stranding from what it sounds like, because it does sound like it is a very experimental, artsy style game, and not in a standard just first-person shooter style or stealth style gameplay mechanic. But yeah, the Giant Bombcast, while not as aggressive about it as the Beastcast's presentation, pretty much backed up that they thought the game sucked. Um, so, yeah, at least for that group of people. 4 damage. And what do we want to do now? We can't win. We're close to winning if we just attacked with everything. I think we want this card gone. Like, I think we want to get rid of the sacrifice strategy, because that's just not going to happen as often as I think it would want to. I think the deck, when you're playing an aggro deck, you're going to play against other aggro decks. When you don't have cards, that's going to turn into a nightmare scenario for you, because then you're always going to get out aggroed. Alright, so let's see. Sacrifice a card, deal 2 damage. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna hold on to that. And then I'm gonna... Do I keep Dwarves of Mine? I feel like Dwarves Mine is probably better than Mountains, even if you just don't ever use them that way. This was a sacrifice strategy too, so I'm gonna get rid of that, because we're just getting rid of the idea of the sacrifice cards. And then I'm going to just try and add as many cards back as I can have. I'm already too high. There we go. Little tweaks. Not trying to have a hour-long deck rebuild on top of an hour and 20-minute deck build, but trying to learn these cards still, trying to move forward. Magic the Gathering Arena tweeted 2 hours ago, Planeswalker's Guide to Eldraine, which probably would be an interesting tutorial to read. I'm spending too much time and getting too deep into all this Magic stuff, certainly, but kinda need to learn this stuff if I'm gonna have any chance at being even slightly more successful than where we were with Hearthstone. Okay, start with this, that's fine. Apparently it's in 7 day. Is it? Is today in 7 day? That stupid Mass Effect day that they tried to make a holiday. November 7th, I guess. Would be tomorrow. Alright. yeah, this would be a great point to remind people how Mass Effect was a major disappointment, with maybe 2.5 games worth playing, but I would suspect possibly less than 1.5 games worth playing. Alright, let's go and block that. One assumes there was nothing to that. Should have played the flying one, actually. But, alright. So I don't really have a lot of news, so we should just start going through it, and that'll be that. We had a bit of an oopsie in the last live stream. I had to take the video down and then brought it up a day later after editing out something, so I'll try to make sure that doesn't happen again. Do we want to attack with anything? Nope, not yet. So, Gamma Sutra has an article here. Get a job. Insomniac Games is hiring a lighting artist. So yeah, Insomniac looking to start a new project, which is not super surprising. Let's see. 1 damage to target opponent. Sure. But he's got all these flying vigilance creatures, and what is this even? Okay. Let's kill that. And let's attack that. And then let's do this. But I've still failed because, see, so this enchantment, Divine Visitation, turns anything he tries to make as a token that would be just like a cheap, ooh, this is a nice strategy. I don't think I have this card, but it's a nice strategy to say the least, to be able to have 6/4/4 flying with vigilance angels. This is the first game I've played with this deck where I feel like I was just outclassed in general, and it wasn't just a problem with my cards, although it still may be a big problem with my cards. It looks like I feel like I would have lost that based on what I have as an entire collection. Alright, next story we have here. Gamma Sutra has this article. Another major streamer leaves Twitch, this time for YouTube. So, streamer Jack Courage Dunlop has announced he'll be exiting Twitch and hosting all future streams on YouTube's streaming side moving forward. What's funny here is that I have very little belief whatsoever that YouTube is paying him anything extra or doing anything special to see that occur. He probably just realizes that he's not big enough to bring his audience over to Mixer and desperately wants to get away from Twitch, which fair enough on that point. Let's see. I'm gonna mulligan this because you kind of need more reds than you need blacks. This is still mostly a red-black deck. So I'm gonna double check every game with screenshots today. I think I'll make a special point of that. So we can play that first turn since we wouldn't be able to play anything anyways. So we have a game on Steam here called Moloch Synthes, which looks to me like it's a Opus Magnum clone, but in black and white. It's rated positively, it's early access, I guess I'll put it on the fall list. It's $9.99 and it's English only. Does this compare this to Opus Magnum? No, it doesn't. It's a cross between TIS 100 and Opus Magnum. Okay. So, that's what I thought it was. That's what it seems like it is. Let's go ahead and play this. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while. I should have played one of these, actually. That was a mistake. I've just cost myself a turn because I should have played either this or this and gotten a black on the field or a red on the field. And it should have been a black because I had a red in my hand. A mountain. Lib Retro has an article here. Doom 3's Lib Retro Core THEWM3 is coming soon to the core updater. And yeah, it's a little surprising that the Doom 3 needs its own core to run one game, but not super surprising when you consider Doom 3 is kind of a much more modern game than... did he steal my card? No, he didn't steal my card. He just has one of his own. My card is like the full art. This is just the regular style. Doom 3, I watched a brief video here. This is like a 30-minute video of gameplay, and boy does Doom 3 not really feel like a Doom game. Instead it just feels like kind of what you would expect a first-person shooter Halo style game to be for the time. Alright. And we'll bring up a swamp. That way we can do baked into a pie if he puts anything terrible in the field. Or we could just do it we could put this on the field. Yep. Here's a little bit of footage of Doom 3, and yeah, you can see it's very much not in the 2D style. Now, Doom 2016 is not in the 2D style either, but you can also see it's incredibly dark, and originally Doom, before the BFG edition, required the flashlight mod or the duct tape mod to allow you to have the flashlight on at the same time the game was being played, and At the same time, he had a gun out, and it was rather ridiculous. Alright, well. Let's see. This. 2 damage. Sacrifice this for a mountain. So yeah, a lot of monster closets in Doom 3, a lot of darkness. That's why when I covered Doom 2016, that on top of the fact that I don't own Doom 3 in either version, and probably wouldn't want to waste the money to buy it in both versions, just buy the BFG version. But I just skipped it. It's not a game I've ever played. It's not a game that I think has any relevancy. I mentioned it, and that's pretty much all that I think needed to happen. I'm wondering if my deck maybe has too much mana. Probably not, but I don't know. Probably would be worth getting rid of these. I don't know. That's kind of the problem is Evolving Wild and the other one play tapped. You sacrifice them, or they don't play tapped, but then they don't have any tap ability that gives you mana, and then you have to sacrifice them to get anything more from that. And it's not like it's a spell where you could play it on top of playing your 1 land. There's still a land. So I question the usefulness of them. Just end the turn. I would also caution that if you are trying to play the Doom 3 core emulator, you probably aren't playing that on a Raspberry Pi or any weak bit of hardware. I imagine you're going to be playing it on the Libretto on a PC type experience. This guy starts as a 2/2, right? So I couldn't have killed him. No choice now, you have to play this. Which, entering the field tapped instead of being a mountain probably is better. Yeah, these Dwarven Mines I'm gonna get rid of. Yeah, there's no reason for them to exist. And he's just playing a strategy here that I've played before myself, so I understand this relatively well. So I can block this guy if he attacks, but I can't really block these guys, and this is not gonna do much. Let's see. Red. And then +3/+3 till the end of the turn, so I could do that. I guess I could attack right now, but I can't because then I'll lose. So I have to end the turn. So this would be +3 +0, so kind of doesn't even help. Next we have a game on Steam here called Griddler's Legends of the Pirates. It's a Picross game. We still are getting these, $2.99. English, French, German, and Russian. Medium effort, low effort games. Price is probably not terrible. Alright, so if I decide to do this, and then do 1 damage here, then that makes this a 5/3, and then I can block this, and I'll lose, so the really only thing I could have done is this. And that kills my field, gives me one damage. So deal 3 damage here. That saves me 1 more turn. Let's see. Put this on the field. Put this on the field. If somehow I turn this around, this is going to be only because of dumb luck. Whenever it becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to the opponent. Okay. So we gotta pick here what we want to do. Do we want to buff up a creature, or do we want to do 2 damage? I think we do 2 damage here. And then I think we do a buff to red here. And then no attacks. TechRaptor has an article here. Get Yesterday Origins when you order Black Set on Good Old Games. Interesting. Interesting that you're getting 2, I think, completely unconnected games, probably from the same publisher or developer. Yeah, I've lost now. Let's see. Double strike this turn. Plus that still wouldn't really do enough. Right. This. And then this. And then, do I want to attack? Because if I attack, I just get blocked by this. Or I lose. So I can't attack. So back down the 1 damage. And that was all it needed. Alright. I think we need more things. Let's open this pack. Like, we're not in any position where we can afford to not open packs. So Okay, we got a rare wild card. That's probably fine. The question is, what cards do you want? Right. Every game, pretty much, we're editing the deck. Vicious Rumor. I only have one of those. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get rid of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And let's balance it out a little bit more than that. That's probably too many cards. Okay, so what do we want? Baked into the pie. More characters that we could actually play. We're at 62 right now. Right. Let's try that out. Next game we have on Steam is called Shiki. Unfortunately, English language is not supported. I like the animation on at least the thumbnail. The rest of this looks like it might just be a visual presentation or maybe a low effort RPG type game, or maybe a puzzle game. It seems like you just kind of wander around and don't do anything else. So I guess this is probably a... Oh, it's an homage to The Little Prince. Oh, I didn't see that, but I guess that makes sense. This is free, it's Japanese only, but it's not in English, so it's mostly a story. So unless you were willing to try to interpret this based on The Little Prince and try and translate all of the text yourself, or you can read Japanese, which I guess is the same thing. Shiki's no good for an English speaker, unfortunately. Let's see. Deal 1 damage to each opponent. Discards a card to put the top card on the library. So, actually this is not a bad card to start with. You play this, it destroys a decent amount of it does a decent amount of damage. Actually, I should have waited though until next turn. So he just tossed a swamp. Interesting. So let's go ahead and play this. Yeah, it would have been smarter to play this than play this, and then on the second turn you could have played this creature. And I didn't do that because I'm foolish. We are doing nicely, I think, though, as far as mana is concerned. No more land problems. Play this. If at least 3 red mana were spent. I could only really spend 2 red mana right now. I'm not ready to play those cards. We need some of those other. We need some of the synergizing people on the field. Let's see. If this spell is the first spell you cast this game, you may cast it without paying any mana. Interesting. See, next we have a game on Steam here called Lithium Inmate 39 Relapsed Edition, which I've never heard of a game called Lithium Inmate. This looks like it's a dark screenshot syndrome horror game of some sort. There might be something to this, so I guess I'll give it a follow. It's $8.99, bunch of languages supported. And see, the fact that it seems like there's just a bunch of death traps that you're really gonna run into. Alright, looking at this video, I can tell this is one of those frustration games, so off the fall list it goes. I have no interest in playing a frustration game. Let's see. Let's see. Let's not spin that one, and let's see. Let's just do this one instead. Yeah. A little late for Halloween too to release a game where it's a frustration, death, find all the different ways you can die style game. One of the people that is working on putting all of the Game & Watch games, called the Mog Miner, or at the Mog Miner, has dumped the last game, Mario the Juggler, which was the last in the series, and a nice homage to the first one, which was just called Ball. Game & Watches look like this, and were popular for a while before like Game Boy came out, and maybe even before NES came out. They came out pretty quickly, if I recall, like between Donkey Kong coming out in arcade and the NES happening. Right. So that's only plus 3 till the end of the turn, so I don't want to cast any more spells until. Let's see. I don't want to cast any spells. It's crazy, and I'm still not really sure how it's going to work in the latest versions of games, that the emulation of hardware, because there are no ROMs, is just going to be integrated. So does that mean when you install the most recent versions of MAME, which again would not be the versions in RetroPie, you just get the Game & Watch games regardless? Or is there some kind of text file you have to make to get them to run? Or how that's actually going to work is above my understanding. Right. Here's what I want to do. I want to do this, this, and this to put this on the field. And then do this. You do this. And then do this. 4 damage anyways, plus this. We should win. There was a lot of LCD games certainly that came out in the early 80s, and I'm not sure that there's any other way that we can preserve them other than what MAME is doing, and as the circuitry itself potentially starts to dissolve. Here. Pay the adamant fee. Buff this one up to do 5. Do this. And do this. I think that is the right move. Even if he does defend against, if he took these two and defended against this one, and then this one and defended against that one, he would clear the field from him, and I'd still have one flying creature. And so I'd just win in the next recording, in the next move. And, yep. Victory 2 after 2 hours of streaming. We're almost done with the daily quest, although I'm still peeved that it didn't reset. Like, I'm not getting like a counter here either. So what is going on with this main menu? I'm questioning, and this is a big question, is does Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro, the parent company, have enough people programming Magic the Gathering Arena, or are we going to see like a constant buggy interface, which is, I think, kind of what Magic Online is. It's janky and old looking at the very least. Magic Online is. Maybe it's not buggy. Anyways, I think this is the right time to break up this recording. We're still just playing this new deck rebuild of red, which we turned it into a red-black. Still just trying to figure out, did I do better or worse than the default deck, which maybe I did worse, but I can't really go back to default decks. We've got better cards. We got to figure out the right ones to use. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.